Newcastle stuns Man United with massive Sesko bid as Liverpool eyes Isak move. Welcome to United News, your most trusted source for the latest football transfer updates and breaking news. We are here to bring you the inside story on all the moves that matter, keeping you ahead of the game with reliable information you can count on. Today, we dive deep into one of the most exciting transfer battles of the summer. The story that has everyone talking. What happens when two football giants go head-to-head for the same world-class striker? We are about to find out. Newcastle United has just thrown down the gauntlet in spectacular fashion, stunning Manchester United with a massive new bid for Benjamin Sesko that could change everything. But this story gets even more interesting. While Newcastle and Man United battle it out for Sesko, Liverpool is quietly waiting in the wings, hoping to snatch Alexander Isak from Newcastle. It's like watching dominoes fall, with each move setting up the next big transfer. So what exactly is happening behind closed doors? How much money are we talking about? And which clubs will come out on top? Let's break it all down. Who is Benjamin Sesko and why does everyone want him? Benjamin Sesko is not just another striker. At just 21 years old, this Slovenian forward has been turning heads across Europe with his incredible performances for RB Leipzig. Standing tall at 6 feet 5 inches, Sesko combines raw power with surprising technical ability that makes defenders nervous. Last season, Sesko scored 18 goals in 42 appearances across all competitions. But it's not just about the numbers. Watching Sesko play, you can see he has that special something that separates good players from great ones. His movement in the box is smart, his finishing is clinical, and he has the physical presence to dominate defenders. Why are Newcastle and Manchester United so desperate to sign him? Both clubs need a proven goalscorer who can make the difference in big games. Sesko fits that bill perfectly, and at his age, he could be the foundation of their attack for the next decade. Newcastle throws down the challenge. Newcastle United means business this summer. After their initial bid of €75 million plus €5 million in add-ons was rejected, many thought they might back away. Instead, they have come back stronger than ever. The Magpies have now submitted a massive new offer worth €90 million in total. That breaks down to €80 million upfront plus another $10 million in add-ons. This is serious money, and it shows just how much Newcastle values Sesko. But here's where it gets really interesting. Newcastle hasn't just improved their financial offer. They have also been working hard to convince Sesko himself that St. James Park is the right place for his career. According to reports, the talks between Newcastle and the player have been very positive. David Ornstein, one of the most reliable football journalists around, revealed that these discussions have gone well. When Ornstein speaks, people listen because he doesn't report rumors. He reports facts. Where does this leave Manchester United? Manchester United finds themselves in a tricky spot. For weeks, reports suggested that Sesko preferred joining United over Newcastle. The young striker was apparently impressed by United's history and the chance to play at Old Trafford. But here's the problem. While United might be Sesko's preferred destination, they haven't matched Newcastle's commitment with actual money. Fabrizio Romano, another transfer expert who rarely gets things wrong, confirmed that United told RB Leipzig they would only bid if Sesko chose them first. This puts United in a waiting game. They want Sesko to commit to them before they submit their offer. But Newcastle is not waiting around. They are making moves now, and their improved bid shows they mean business. The latest reports suggest that United are not prepared to match Newcastle's €90 million offer. The figures they have indicated they would pay are lower than what Newcastle has put on the table. This could be a costly mistake. What does RB Leipzig want? RB Leipzig holds all the cards here, and they know it. The German club has made it clear that they won't compromise on their valuation of Sesko. They want their asking price met, and they want the deal structured in a way that benefits them. Newcastle's original €75 million fixed fee actually met Leipzig's basic valuation. But the German club wanted better terms regarding add-ons and future sell-on clauses. Newcastle has now addressed these concerns with their improved offer. Leipzig's stance puts even more pressure on Manchester United. If United wants Sesko, they need to match or beat Newcastle's offer. Simply hoping that the player chooses them might not be enough. Could Sesko end up somewhere he doesn't want? Here's a scenario that could really shake things up. What if Sesko still prefers Manchester United, but RB Leipzig accepts Newcastle's higher bid? This kind of situation happens more often than you might think in football transfers. Players don't always get to choose their destination, especially when clubs hold firm on their valuations. If Leipzig decides Newcastle's offer is too good to refuse, they could force Sesko's hand. Would Sesko refuse to sign for Newcastle even if the clubs agree on a fee? It's possible, but it would put him in a very difficult position. Players who block moves often find themselves frozen out by their current clubs. The Liverpool connection changes everything. While everyone focuses on the Newcastle versus Manchester United battle for Sesko, there's another massive story developing. Liverpool is watching this situation very carefully, and for good reason. The Reds have their eyes on Alexander Isak, Newcastle's star striker. Liverpool has already submitted one bid worth £110 million plus add-ons for the Swedish international. That bid was rejected, but Liverpool hasn't given up. Here's where the Sesko situation becomes crucial for Liverpool. Newcastle will only let Isak leave if they can sign a suitable replacement. Sesko is that replacement. If Newcastle successfully signs Sesko, it opens the door for Liverpool to make another move for Isak. Why Liverpool wants Isak so badly? Alexander Isak has been one of the Premier League's most impressive strikers since joining Newcastle. The 25-year-old Swede has pace, skill, and a lethal finishing ability that would fit perfectly into Liverpool's attacking system. Last season, Isak scored 25 goals in 40 appearances across all competitions. More importantly, he scored crucial goals in big games. These are the kind of performances that win titles, and Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp knows it. Liverpool's current striker situation needs addressing. While they have talented forwards, they lack a consistent goal-scoring threat who can guarantee 20-plus goals per season. Isak could be that player. The money behind these moves. Let's talk numbers because the sums involved are staggering. Newcastle values Isak at around £150 million. That would make him one of the most expensive transfers in football history. Liverpool, according to reliable sources, is prepared to pay that amount if necessary. The club's ownership has backed Jurgen Klopp in the transfer market before, and they appear ready to do so again for the right player. The money behind these moves. Let's talk numbers because the sums involved are staggering. Newcastle values Isak at around £150 million. That would make him one of the most expensive transfers in football history. Liverpool, according to reliable sources, is prepared to pay that amount if necessary. The club's ownership has backed Jurgen Klopp in the transfer market before, and they appear ready to do so again for the right player. When you add up all the potential moves, we're looking at transfer fees exceeding £300 million. Sesko could cost €90 million, about £77 million, while Isak could go for £150 million. These are numbers that show just how much modern football has changed. The domino effect in action. What makes this transfer saga so fascinating is how connected everything is. Newcastle's pursuit of Sesko directly affects Liverpool's chances of signing Isak. If Newcastle fails to land Sesko, they won't sell Isak. If they succeed, Liverpool gets their chance. This creates a situation where Liverpool fans should probably be cheering for Newcastle to sign Sesko. Sounds strange, but in the world of football transfers, stranger things have happened. Manchester United's hesitation could end up costing them twice. They might lose Sesko to Newcastle, and they might also miss out on other striker targets who sign elsewhere while United waits. What this means for each club's season. The outcome of these transfer battles could shape each club's entire season. For Newcastle, signing Sesko would show they can compete with the biggest clubs for top talent. It would also give them the striker they need to push for European qualification again. Manchester United's season could depend on whether they can find a reliable goalscorer. If they miss out on Sesko and can't find an alternative, it could be another frustrating campaign at Old Trafford. Liverpool's title hopes may rest on adding that final piece to their attack. Isak could be the difference between challenging for the Premier League and settling for a top-4 finish. The role of player power. In modern football, players have more power than ever before. Sesko's preference for Manchester United shows that club reputation still matters, even when another team offers more money. But player power has limits. If a club accepts a bid and the player's current team wants to sell, refusing to move can create problems. Sesko will need to weigh his options carefully. Isak faces a different situation. If Newcastle signs Sesko and accepts Liverpool's bid, the Swedish striker would have a clear path to Anfield. The question is whether he wants to make that move. Why these transfers matter beyond the clubs. These potential moves represent something bigger than just player transfers. They show how competitive the Premier League has become and how much money clubs are willing to spend to gain an advantage. Newcastle's rise as a major spending force has changed the transfer market. Their willingness to pay top dollar for Sesko puts pressure on other clubs to match or exceed those amounts. The ripple effects extend beyond England too. If RB Leipzig receives €90 million for Sesko, it gives them significant spending power in their own transfer market. The timeline and what happens next. Transfer situations like this can change quickly. Newcastle's improved bid for Sesko puts immediate pressure on all parties to make decisions. RB Leipzig will need to decide whether Newcastle's offer is acceptable. If they say yes, attention turns to Sesko and whether he will agree to the move. Manchester United faces a deadline of sorts. If they want Sesko, they need to act soon before Newcastle's bid is accepted. Waiting much longer could mean missing out entirely. Liverpool continues to wait patiently for their opportunity with Isak. But patience in the transfer market can be risky, as other clubs might enter the race. The broader impact on football. These transfer battles highlight several important trends in modern football. First, the amounts of money involved continue to grow year after year. What seemed like extraordinary fees a few years ago now appear normal. Second, the interconnected nature of transfers means that one move can trigger several others. The Sesko situation affects at least 3 major clubs and could influence their entire transfer strategies. Third, the speed of modern transfer negotiations has increased dramatically. Social media and instant communication mean that situations can change within hours rather than days or weeks. Questions that need answers. Several key questions remain unanswered as this transfer saga continues. Will Manchester United finally submit a competitive bid for Sesko, or will they let Newcastle have a clear run at the striker? Can Newcastle convince Sesko that St. James Park is the right place for his development, even if his heart is set on Old Trafford? If Newcastle does sign Sesko, will they immediately open talks with Liverpool about selling Isak? How high is Liverpool prepared to go for Isak if Newcastle plays hardball on the price? The human side of big money transfers. Behind all the massive transfer fees and club strategies are real people making life-changing decisions. For Sesko, choosing between Newcastle and Manchester United means choosing between different visions of his future. Newcastle offers immediate first-team football, a passionate fan base, and a club with ambitious plans. Manchester United offers history, global recognition, and the chance to play for one of football's most famous clubs. For Isak, a potential move to Liverpool would mean leaving a club where he has become a fan favorite for the chance to compete for major trophies. What history tells us. Looking at similar transfer battles from the past, several patterns emerge. Clubs that act decisively often succeed, while those that hesitate frequently miss out. Newcastle's aggressive approach with Sesko follows this pattern. By improving their bid quickly and engaging in positive talks with the player, they are maximizing their chances of success. Manchester United's more cautious approach carries risks. While they might believe Sesko's preference gives them an advantage, transfer preferences can change when one club shows significantly more commitment. The media and fan reaction. The reaction from fans and media has been intense, as expected with transfers of this magnitude. Newcastle supporters are excited about the possibility of signing Sesko and see it as proof of their club's growing ambition. Manchester United fans are more divided. Some want the club to match Newcastle's bid immediately, while others question whether Sesko is worth such a large investment. Liverpool fans are watching the Sesko situation closely, knowing it could determine whether they get their chance to sign Isak. Financial fair play considerations. All three clubs must consider financial fair play regulations when making these expensive signings. Newcastle's owners have deep pockets, but they still need to balance their spending with revenue generation. Manchester United has significant revenue streams, but they also have existing financial commitments that limit their spending power. Liverpool has been more conservative in recent transfer windows, but they appear ready to make a major investment for the right player. The coaching perspective. From a coaching standpoint, these potential signings make sense for each club. Newcastle manager Eddie Howe has built a system that would suit Sesko's strengths, particularly his aerial ability and physical presence. If Sesko joined Manchester United, he would need to adapt to Erik Ten Hag's preferred style of play, which emphasizes quick passing and movement. Jurgen Klopp has a proven track record of getting the best out of attacking players, and Isak's pace and versatility would fit perfectly into Liverpool's system. Looking at the competition. The Premier League's competitiveness means that every top signing matters. If Newcastle lands Sesko, they improve their chances of finishing in European qualification spots. Manchester United cannot afford to miss out on top targets if they want to return to title contention. The gap between them and Manchester City or Arsenal could widen if they don't strengthen properly. Liverpool needs to maintain their status as title contenders, and adding a player like Isak could be crucial to their chances. The international dimension. These transfers also have international implications. Sesko's decision could influence where other young players choose to continue their development. If Newcastle successfully attracts a player of Sesko's caliber, it sends a message that they can compete with any club for top talent. The success or failure of these moves could also impact how these players perform for their national teams, with major tournaments always on the horizon. What success looks like. For Newcastle, success means signing Sesko and keeping him happy and productive. The club needs to show that their investment pays off with improved results on the pitch. Manchester United's success depends on either signing Sesko or finding an equally effective alternative. Missing out entirely would represent a significant failure. Liverpool's success is measured by whether they can complete the Isak signing and how well he integrates into their team. The conclusion that changes everything. As we reach the end of this incredible transfer story, one thing becomes clear. The next few days could reshape the entire landscape of English football. Newcastle's bold move for Sesko has set off a chain reaction that could see three of the Premier League's biggest clubs make dramatic changes to their squads. The stakes could not be higher. For Newcastle, this represents their chance to prove they belong among Europe's elite clubs. Their willingness to spend €90 million on Sesko shows ambition that matches their passionate fanbase's dreams. Manchester United faces a moment of truth. Their history and reputation have always been their biggest assets in attracting players, but Newcastle's concrete offer shows that money talks loudly in modern football. United must decide whether to match Newcastle's commitment or risk losing out on their primary target. Liverpool waits in the wings, knowing that their title ambitions could depend on Newcastle's success in signing Sesko. If the Magpies get their man, Liverpool could finally land Isak and complete their attacking puzzle. But beyond the individual clubs and players, this transfer saga represents something bigger. It shows how competitive the Premier League has become and how much clubs are willing to invest in success. The amounts of money involved would have been unthinkable just a few years ago, yet they now represent the new reality of elite football. For fans of all three clubs, the next few weeks will be filled with excitement, anxiety, and hope. Every report, every social media post, and every journalist's update will be analyzed for clues about how these massive deals might unfold. The beautiful game has never been more unpredictable, and these transfer battles prove that anything can happen when ambition meets opportunity. Whether you support Newcastle, Manchester United, Liverpool, or any other club, these moves will have lasting effects on the Premier League's competitive balance. Stay tuned to Unite United News for all the latest updates on these developing stories. We will continue to bring you accurate, reliable information as these transfer sagas unfold. In a world of football rumors and speculation, we remain your trusted source for the truth. The transfer window is far from over, and if these early moves are any indication, we are in for one of the most exciting summers in recent memory. The only certainty is that nothing is certain, And that is exactly what makes football the greatest show on earth.